welcome to The Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we're diving into a really fascinating shift happening right now in the world of digital design and publishing. We're going to explore exactly how brand new AI capabilities are literally transforming plain everyday text into stunning, professional-grade book covers. It's really wild stuff. So, let's kick things off with a slightly provocative question. Is it shallow to judge a book by its cover? Or is that just how our brains actually process trust? Well, the source confirms that it's absolutely not shallow. It's a hardwired cognitive process. We naturally judge quality and credibility at a single glance. In a totally crowded market, your cover isn't just a piece of art, right? It is without a doubt your absolute first sales tool. So the crucial point is that a cover only has a tiny 3-second window to communicate its value. Think about that. Before a potential reader absorbs a single word of the actual book, they've already made a definitive judgment. In under 3 seconds, that image has to broadcast credibility. It has to establish the genre, and it has to prove its quality. If it doesn't, the reader simply moves on. To see what I mean, just look at this gorgeous epic fantasy cover for The Last Boundless Path. You instantly get a sense of scale, of magic, and of high-end professional quality. A design like this instantly signals to a reader that, hey, this book is completely worth your time and your investment. A weak cover does the exact opposite, and it literally doesn't matter how incredible the writing inside the book might be. But if we're being honest, creating covers like that using AI used to be incredibly frustrating. If you've ever played around with older AI image generators, you know they had one glaring weakness, and that was text. Titles would come out blurry, author names were completely garbled, and the letters basically melted into these weird abstract scribbles. But there has been a massive, massive recent breakthrough. The newest AI models can now render exact typography, perfectly spelled titles, perfectly spelled author names, which really changes the game entirely. Just notice the pristine text on this cover for The Perfect Crust. The title, the subtitle, the author name, they are absolutely flawless. This leap forward is powered by recent models like GPT, Image 2.0, and Nano Banana 2. They finally allow you to just include the exact text in your prompt, and boom, it's rendered correctly in the final image. Okay, let's dive into this a bit deeper, because there is a catch. Better text rendering doesn't automatically mean you get a better overall cover. As the saying goes, a vague prompt still produces a generic result. These AI models are incredibly powerful, yes, but they are still entirely dependent on the quality of the instructions you feed them. If you don't know what details to include or how to structure them, you're just going to end up with something that looks like a cheap cookie-cutter template. And that is exactly what the Book Cover AI Toolkit was designed to solve. It objectively claims to bypass all of those technical and creative barriers. Based on the source, you don't need any API keys, tokens, or complex technical knowledge. You don't need to know Photoshop, you don't need Canvas skills, and what's really impressive is you don't even need a paid AI subscription because it works perfectly with the free versions of these models. The toolkit proposes this completely seamless, highly structured 3-step workflow. First, you just describe your book details naturally. Simple as that. Step 2, you paste that description into an AI chat tool, which generates a master prompt. And finally, Step 3, you drop that master prompt into an AI image tool to actually render the cover. It's designed to be an incredibly straightforward pipeline from plain English to your final image. In action, the prompt generator is surprisingly simple. It's literally just a lightweight HTML file that you run right on your computer. You just type your book's details into the box in plain, everyday sentences. There's absolutely no special coding or formatting required on your end. You just write naturally about what your title is, your genre, and the kind of mood you're going for. Now, the true magic happens during the transformation process. The tool takes that plain text description you just wrote and instantly structures it into a master prompt. You take that generated prompt, paste it into an AI chat tool like ChatGPT or Claude, and then that outputs the exact visual instructions. You copy those instructions over to your image generator, and out pops your custom, high-quality cover. It brilliantly illustrates how you go from a basic idea to a finished product. What's really fascinating here is how differently these AI models can interpret that structured information. Take a look at this war memoir titled Fire and Forgetting. We have 2 distinct, incredibly professional-grade covers here, and they were generated using the exact same prompt, just run through 2 different AI models. So you can see how the toolkit doesn't lock you into one single aesthetic. It gives you the flexibility to explore different high-quality directions. The secret sauce behind getting this level of consistency is something called JSON. Now, don't let the technical acronym intimidate you at all. JSON is simply a perfectly structured data format. Think of it not as complex computer code, but just as a rigid, perfectly organized recipe. Because when we talk to AI conversationally, important details tend to get lost. JSON eliminates that conversational vagueness completely, feeding the AI discrete, flawless instructions. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the master template code formats all this. It takes all your info and breaks down elements like metadata, mood, and typography into separate, distinct fields. The brilliance of the HTML generator we just talked about is that it completely automates this complex formatting for you. You literally never have to write or even touch this code yourself. There are some really core practical benefits to using these JSON prompts. First, because every single field gets equal weights, nothing gets lost or forgotten at the end of a long paragraph. It's also incredibly easy to adapt. Say you just want to change the mood of the cover from dark to melancholic. You just tweak that one specific field, and it won't break your typography instructions. It allows for highly precise iteration, it's universally understood by all the major AI tools, and it scales perfectly if you're working on multiple projects. And because you have that level of precise control, the versatility is just incredible. Take a look at these two totally contrasting genres. On one side, we have Soft Like Sunday, which is this incredibly warm, cozy coffee shop romance. On the other, the Hello Meridian, a mysterious, ethereal, dark fantasy portal. The exact same toolkit and the exact same workflow produced both of these very distinct, highly professional results. Let's move on and see how this builds into something even bigger. This goes beyond just being a personal, creative tool. It can actually serve as a legitimate business asset. The toolkit comes with PLR, which stands for Private Label Rights. This essentially bridges the gap between just creating art for your own projects and actually monetizing the entire system itself. If we look at the exact permissions of the included PLR license, they're quite broad. You are allowed to sell the toolkit an unlimited number of times, you can rename it, put your own brand on it, edit the sales page, and even bundle it with other things. The restrictions are pretty specific though. You simply cannot give it away for free, you can't offer it on auction sites, and you cannot transfer the master resale or PLR rights to anyone else. So based on the source material, there are 3 distinct ways to monetize this toolkit. Number 1, you can obviously use it to generate unlimited covers for your own titles, your lead magnets, or your courses. Number 2, you could offer cover creation as a freelance service to your own clients. And number 3, you can directly resell the entire toolkit to your audience, and you get to keep 100% of the profits. The advertised one-time entry price for this entire package, which includes the HTML generator, the master prompt, the quick start guide, and that full private label rights license we just went over, is $17. And the vendor's core claim here is quite straightforward. They argue that because high-quality book covers are always in such incredibly high demand, using this tool for even a single, modestly priced client project is going to return that $17 investment many times over. It's really positioned as a way to turn a practical design tool into a standalone business. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative question to chew on. As plain text to JSON workflows, like this AI toolkit, completely bridge the gap between just typing out a simple text description and getting a high-end professional design, what actually happens to the future value of traditional design skills? We are truly seeing a major redefinition of the boundary between technical ability and creative output. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this absolutely fascinating shift, and I really hope this provided you with some great insights.